when I say that she's creating tigers or she's embroidering tigers, is she, just think of it, will she be allowed to create such a feature or such kind of artwork or such kind of embroidery?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, no.
No.
But it's rebellious.
I didn't get you. What? Repeat.
Ma'am, if it's rebellious, then no.
Somebody's mic is making noise. Yes, Smriti, repeat again.
Ma'am, I said that if that is rebellious, then no.
Yeah, it is it will be looked upon as a rebellious act. Now if you look at this, um, so ivory needle hard to pull. So look at the difficulties of creation. There probably some restriction that is holding her from creating, holding her from. Now when an artist creates something that is his own self-expression, okay, so she's trying to express her revolutionary, her rebellious, or you can say her questioning of the patriarchal society is expressed through her embroidery. And is she allowed to do that? No, there is prohibition, there is restriction. And what is restricting her? Just look at the lines. Can you find that reason? What is stopping her? What is seizing her hand from creating or expressing
Ma'am,
herself on
marriage.
the
Ma'am, wedding
Ma'am,
ring.
marriage.
wedding ring? Okay, now ring is not as a ban. There is marriage, there is institution of marriage which prohibits self-expression. It's not just the embroidery that is being prohibited, it is complete self, it is the fact that a female's complete identity is subsumed, it is suppressed in marriage. That's what she says. That the moment you enter the institution of marriage, your entire life, your entire identity is dismantled. You are being completely overpowered by your husband, by the male of the family. And patriarchy does that to women. She is definitely very much questioning the institution of marriage when she says the massive weight of uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. That's what that sits upon her hand and restricts that kind of expression. Look at the word hard to pull. Look at the word massive weight. Look at the word band, double connotation. Look at the word sits heavily. Okay. The wedding band sits
Ma'am,
heavily upon the. Yes. Yes.
ma'am, this like trying to tell that it's like a boundary to her. Like not, she is like being, the uncle is being dominant to her.
Yeah. The relationship of Uncle Aunt Jennifer with Uncle is very much under question because of what we read in the second stanza. And it clearly reflects that Uncle is a very, very dominating personality. Is a personality who has restricted her life. She feels suffocated in this marriage. That's what is reflected in this. That's just an instance of embroidery that she mentions that she's unable to do. That what she feels like, even what she feels like, the freedom and leisure of being oneself is killed in marriage. That's what she says. Okay. So again, find even. Look at the word even. The stress on the word even. The ivory needle. Now look at the word ivory needle. Ivory needle is as light as a feather. Okay. Even that is difficult for her to pull. So again, and when you look at the word fingers fluttering, it refers to feeble fingers, weak fingers. Now, this feebleness or this weakness, this strengthlessness of Aunt Jennifer would definitely, it resounds something else at the background, but we can only make out till this point that she is tired of trying too much, probably, but she's still trying. Look at her zest. Look at her enthusiasm, not enthusiasm, but look at her
Ma'am,
energy. Yeah.
ma'am, we can say that she is oppressed with her mental conditions.
She's oppressed by her husband, yes, and the mental condition in which she is, she's end up making tigers. You can say that anger is directed towards making embroidery. She is not able to express
Yes,
herself
ma'am.
through mouth and language. Now even language restriction is there, and that's why she's ending up expressing herself through the thread, the wool, needle, and on the canvas. You can say that. The speechlessness of Aunt Jennifer in the poem, and The fact her needle speaks is what she's trying to do. The only form of expression that she has, the only outlet, the only, that's a purgation she's undergoing. She's trying to, express, let out those vent up emotions are coming on the canvas. That's the idea. The massive weight of uncles. I'm not interpreting it in my own ways that why tigers are like that. I'm telling you just because of what we have in the second stanza. And I think everything in the second stanza says what I told you in the first stanza, that why tigers have been referred to as an equivalent or as an opponent or as a counterpart of males, and yet they are the one who are different from them. So Aunt Jennifer's tiger's fingers fluttering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. Look at the word hard again. The massive weight. Look at the word massive weight. Okay. It's too hard to pull. Okay. Uncle's wedding band. Here comes another reference, another connotation. Uncle's wedding band. What do you share in marriage? What do you exchange in marriage? In that ceremony of wedding, what do you exchange? To mark the ring. But the ring has been told as band. What do you think is a deliberate exaggeration here? Yes or no? There is a deliberate exaggeration. The ring has been referred to a band,
Yes, ma'am.
and that band
Yes,
somehow
ma'am.
resounds to the bond that you've talked about. Somebody said that she's restricted, she's we can say she's locked, shackled. Okay, the periphery, the band defines her periphery, that the movement is only allowed in that particular precinct, and not the freedom and the leisure of being oneself is completely taken away, robbed off in this relationship, or you can say in this institution of marriage. And that's why she seems to be complaining through the embroidery that she's making. And that's why she's a massive weight of uncle's wedding band. It's not just the band that is there, it's the uncle's wedding band. Just imagine, like she is creating tigers, there is an uncle's wedding band, very much restrictive. You can say the prohibition comes from that band itself. That's the idea. Okay, look at the word. The wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. The band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. That's the idea. And you find it somewhere to be personification. And not just personification, this personification goes beyond. When he says sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand, it is as if, this wedding band becomes a metaphor for Aunt Jennifer, uncle himself, whose entire identity has been imposed. His own ideas, his restrictions, his thoughts, his ideas, his beliefs have been imposed on Aunt Jennifer. And it is very much, um, it becomes readers discomfort when they try and analyze at how difficult it is for Aunt Jennifer, how much she would have been struggling, that her identity is completely shattered in this marriage. It says heavily she's taking in this marriage. Okay, yeah, somebody saying something.
Ma'am, I'm asking if it is a hyperbole used
It
in
is a
this.
hyperbole. I said it's a deliberate exaggeration that she's doing to indicate. Then in that case, the band becomes the metaphor for marriage, as well as the metaphor for the shackles that she's been bound in. Okay, the massive weight of uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. Now look at the word hand. What is this hand basically? Is it just the hand, or is it Aunt Jennifer's complete identity, her own life, herself? That's where you have synecdoche.
Identity.
Yeah, the
Ma'am, her
identity
own
and
life.
her own life, Aunt Jennifer herself in toto. So when you say Aunt Jennifer's hand, it's not just the hand, it's entire Aunt Jennifer. So this is synecdoche. Okay. So here comes the video for you. First of all, we have alliteration. I think I need not show you a video on alliteration, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
No, just note it down. Just take a screenshot or note it down. Let me just come to the video because there's very less time left now. It is hyperbole. Sorry, it's not hyperbole. It's hyperbole. Let's just give you.
My bag weighs a ton. I had to wait in the station for 10 days, an eternity. I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse.
Voice is there. Audio is okay.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so this is hyperbole. Have a look.
Yeah. I know you heard of me. The best figure of speech, hands down hyperbole. I'm the one that similes yearn to be. I'm brighter than an Ivy University. I'm used universally, well maybe not quite. It might not be true, but it sure sounds nice. John Henry and Paul Bunyan both owe me a little something. Words have a literal meaning when they mean exactly what they say. And words have a figurative meaning when there's something more that they want to convey. That's me. I exaggerate, I make it seem bigger, better, more. I've been known to tell a tall tale or two, just to leave them in stitches like tailors do. Yeah, I pop up in pop-up ads and a cover of supermarket rags. No, the truth never bothered me. I'm hyper speed hyperbole. Babe, the big blue ox could eat in one day all the feed one crew could tote to camp in a year. That's me. Hyperbole, exaggerate for effect, certainly. Build intensity and urgency, hyperbole. I know you heard of me, not hyperbole, exaggerate for effect, certainly. Build intensity and urgency, hyperbole. I know you heard of me. Now, why in the world would all these folks use me in their writing, speaking, and jokes? Authors could use hyperbole to emphasize the stature and the size of these characters, so they come alive. Take Johnny Appleseed, a real guy who walked barefoot a lot, okay? So his feet were calloused, and they say if a rattlesnake bit his feet, that snake would die immediately. Ha! That's hyperbole, used to convey Johnny's toughness, see? Or ask any preteen, certainly. Hyperbole conveys urgency.